Hi, this is Julie at Prairie Junction Quilt Shop in Cozad, Nebraska. Thanks so much for joining us for our June session of the Ladies Scrap Basket Saturday Sampler Quilt. Today's block that we're going to be working on is the 10.5-inch 4 flowers block, and you can find that on page 13 of the Ladies Scrap Basket pattern. And this is our Ladies Scrap Basket quilt. So this block right here is actually, you have to excuse me and I'll lift up the quilt a little bit so you can see that block. This is the block in our quilt. And the fabrics that are shown here are from the Sarah's Story line from Betsy Chutchin from Moda. And I'm doing my demo blocks primarily in Mackinac Island to just kind of change it up and show you how different those blocks can look. So this one, once again, was 4 flowers, found on page 13 in the pattern. And the construction on this block is actually very simple and straightforward. It's going to be comprised of half square triangles, some squares, and this cute little unit in the corner is simply comprised of 2 squares and a rectangle sewn together. And then our sashing units are comprised of 2 rectangles. And so you're going to lay all your block units out, and you're actually going to sew those in rows across. And just make sure that you pay attention to the pressing directions in that pattern, and that will make sure that all your block units nest well together. So very simple construction for that particular block, so that should go together very easily for you. And our second block is the 7.5 by 12.5 inch flower block, and it's on page 6 in the pattern. And that block you'll see right here in the quilt. And so in my Mackinac Island block, it's once again very simple piecing, but I think the thing that you'll want to pay careful attention to is that some of these pieces are very similar sized. So perhaps they're 4 inches tall and 3¼ inches wide. And then you put these little corners on their little corner units. So you want to make sure that you have those units setting so that they're 4½ inches tall when you make that unit. Because it's real easy to, when they're only a 1/4 inch difference, it's real easy to get that turned around and to get those pieces on the wrong edge. So make sure you have those positioned correctly as well. And I misspoke, actually. This little unit here is 2 3/4 by 3 inches. It's the leaf that you also need to be careful of because it's 3 3/4 by 4 inches. So just pay careful attention to that in your pattern. That's what I get when I'm trying to look at measurements upside down and backwards for you. So that's really my biggest tip for this block, is make sure that you have your pieces oriented in the right direction. And if you're using a stripe fabric for here in the leaves, I find it's best if I lay those pieces out on my design board and have them laid out with the direction I want that stripe to run, so that I make sure that I'm putting my corners on the correct sides of those blocks so that my stripes end up running the correct direction. So those are a couple tips for you that will help ensure success in those blocks. And if you're just joining us on our Ladies Scrap Basket video, we do have kits for this project as well. The pattern is by Bits and Pieces, and we have it kitted up just like you see on our sample right here. Majority of the fabrics, once again, are from Sarah's Story fabric line, with a few of our other favorite prints thrown in as well. But we do have complete kits for that if you would like to work on that project as well. So once again, this was Julie at Prairie Junction Quilt Shop in Cozad, Nebraska. Thank you.